In the distant future, on a planet called Zarnon, a group of aliens known as the Zarnites lived peacefully. Zarnon was a vibrant world filled with trees that sparkled like diamonds and rivers that glowed a soft blue at night. The Zarnites were curious beings, skinned with shimmering scales that changed colors according to their emotions. They communicated through musical sounds that echoed through the lush landscape. Life on Zarnon was mostly calm, with the Zarnites focusing on their studies of the universe. They often gazed at the stars, wondering if they were alone. The leaders of their community, wise beings named Elder and Trox, often discussed sending a message into the stars in hope of finding new friends. One day, while gazing at the sky, Elder suggested, "Why don't we send a signal? We could learn so much from others." The community was both excited and nervous. They had heard stories of powerful beings called Deathworlders, creatures from planets known for their extreme conditions. Rumors said they were strong and fierce, but also intelligent and capable of great creativity. After much discussion, the Zarnites decided to send a simple message: "We seek connection." They broadcast a message into the vast galaxy, hoping someone would reply. Days turned into weeks, and then one evening, as the stars flickered, they received an unexpected response. A bright flash of light shot across the sky, and a loud boom echoed around the Zarnite village. It sparked fear and excitement in equal measure. They had drawn the attention of another life form, and it was something entirely unknown. What if they come to harm us? Trox asked, his scales turning a shade of worried purple. Or what if they bring knowledge and friendship? Elder replied, her colors shimmering brightly in hope. The decision was made to prepare for whatever was to come. The Zarnites built a welcoming area filled with flowers that glowed under moonlight. They sang songs that spoke of peace and camaraderie, hoping to convey their good intentions. A few days later, the sky darkened as a massive ship descended from the heavens. It was like nothing the Zarnites had ever seen, huge and metallic, with strange engravings all over it. The ship landed with a thud, sending a gentle tremor through the ground. As the dust settled, a ramp extended from the ship's belly, and out stepped the Deathworlders. At first glance, the Zarnites were struck with awe and panic. The Deathworlders were tall and broad, covered in strange fabrics that glimmered under the sunlight. Their faces were not like Zarnites. They had 2 eyes, 2 ears, and a wide mouth that seemed to be smiling. They did not make musical sounds. Instead, they spoke with a deep, rumbling voice that echoed through the air. "Who are you?" a large Deathworlder named Korgan called out, his voice booming. The Zarnites were frightened, huddling together. But Elder stepped forward, gathering all her courage. "We are the Zarnites. We come in peace." Korgan blinked his eyes and looked around. "You sent a message. We came because we are curious." The Zarnites exchanged glances, their colors shifting as they realized these beings were not there to harm them. Trox spoke up, growing bolder. "We wanted to meet other beings in the universe. We thought we might learn from each other." Korgan smiled wider, revealing teeth that sparkled like the stars. "Then let us learn together." The Deathworlders stepped closer, and the Zarnites opened up their arms, welcoming them. For days they laughed, sang, and shared stories. The Zarnites taught the Deathworlders about their beautiful planet and the wonders it held. They showed them the sparkling trees and the glowing rivers. In return, the Deathworlders shared tales of their own home, a rough planet called Kroth, where storms raged and survival was a daily challenge. "One day, we banded together to fight off the wild beasts that roamed our land," Korgan explained, his eyes brightening with the memory. The Zarnites listened, fascinated by tales of bravery. However, a subtle storm began to brew. Some of the Zarnites felt uneasy, whispering among themselves. "What if they turn on us? They are strong and dangerous," one of them said, their scales dimming with worry. Eldra, overhearing this, felt a wave of concern wash over her. "We cannot let fear guide us. We must choose trust." One evening, while they were gathered to share a meal, disaster struck. A wild creature, a great beast from the woods, charged toward the gathering. Its roar shook the ground and confusion ensued. The Zarnites fled in terror, their shimmering colors fading to dark shades. In that moment, Korgan took charge. "Stay together," he bellowed. positioning himself between the creature and the frightened Zarnites. The Deathworlders recognized this beast from their own planet. They were trained to confront such dangers. Together, they charged, working with swift teamwork to protect the Zarnites. They fought bravely and skillfully, finally scaring the creature into retreat. Eldra watched in awe as her fears turned into gratitude. When the fight was over and calm returned, the Zarnites slowly approached the Deathworlders with wide eyes. "You saved us," Eldra said, her voice trembling with emotion. Corgan nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. "We may come from different worlds, but courage unites us." From that day forward, the bond grew stronger. The Zarnites and the Deathworlders decided to build a home for learning, where knowledge and stories would be shared freely. Together, they created a place of beauty, mixing both arts and survival skills. The Zarnites learned how to face challenges with courage, while the Deathworlders found joy in the beauty of friendship and harmony. As the stars glimmered over Zarnon, they realized that by reaching out into the universe, they had found something valuable: connection. As days turned into months, the alien worlds began to merge into one. They laughed together, learned from each other, and built a future that combined their unique gifts. The Zarnites had opened up their home, and in return, they gained new friends who taught them bravery. And so, the once peaceful planet of Zarnon became a thriving community where different beings learned to coexist, proving that even in the vast universe, friendship could light the darkest corners of fear. Type Sci-fi. The ZZ Glorg were a species known for two things: their insatiable curiosity and their utter lack of physical prowess. They spent eons drifting through the cosmos in their bioships, observing, cataloging, and occasionally poking things they shouldn't. It was during one such expedition that they stumbled upon a distress signal emanating from a remote, uncharted system. The signal was weak, garbled, but undeniably urgent. A young Z-Glorg named Gleepglorp, fresh out of the Academy of Xeno-Observation, pleaded with his captain, a grizzled veteran named Flupgloopy, to investigate. "Captain, think of the data. A new species in distress. We could make a name for ourselves." Gleepglorp chirped, his bioluminescent skin flashing with excitement. Flupgloopy, who preferred napping in the ship's nutrient vats, grumbled. "Distress signals usually mean trouble, Gleepglorp. Trouble usually means things that can eat us, and we are not particularly difficult to eat." However, Gleepglorp's enthusiasm was infectious, and the lure of the unknown proved too strong to resist. Flupgloopy sighed, adjusted his gelatinous form in his command chair, and ordered the ship to alter course. As they approached the source of the signal, they found a scene of utter devastation. A small rocky planet, once teeming with vegetation, was now scarred and burning. Debris from what appeared to be spacecraft littered the orbit. What could have done this? Gleepglorp whispered, his usually bright skin dimming with concern. "Pirates, maybe?" Flupgloopy suggested, though he sounded unconvinced. Pirates usually wanted loot, not planetary annihilation. They cautiously approached the planet, scanning for survivors. To their surprise, they found a small, heavily fortified bunker that had somehow withstood the orbital bombardment. The distress signal was emanating from within. Hesitantly, they sent a message. "This is the ZZ Glorg vessel Curiosity. We have detected your distress signal. We offer assistance." A moment later, a response crackled back, surprisingly clear. "Who are you? Are you here to finish us off?" The voice was raspy, weary, but held a distinct edge of suspicion. "We are observers," Gleepglorp replied. "We mean you no harm. We only wish to understand." After a tense silence, the voice responded, "Fine, come in peace. But be warned, we are not defenseless." The ZZ Glorg landed their ship a safe distance from the bunker and cautiously approached. As they drew closer, the bunker doors hissed open, revealing a group of beings unlike anything they had ever encountered. They were bipedal like many species, but that's where the similarities ended. They were tall, muscular, and covered in scars. Their eyes were hard, their faces grim. They wore practical, combat-worn armor, and each carried a weapon that looked capable of vaporizing a small moon. "We are the humans," the apparent leader said, his voice rough. "I am Captain Eva Rostova. And you are—" The ZZ Glorg, accustomed to dealing with relatively docile species, were taken aback. These humans radiated an aura of raw power and barely contained aggression. Gleepglorp, despite his nervousness, stepped forward. "Greetings, Captain Rostova. I am Gleepglorp, and this is Captain Flipgloopy. We are from the ZZ Glor Collective. We are here to offer assistance." Rostova raised an eyebrow. "Assistance? You look like you'd break a limb trying to lift one of our rifles." Flipgloopy, offended, puffed himself up slightly. "We may not be physically imposing, but we possess advanced technology and knowledge. We can offer medical aid, supplies, information." Rostova considered this for a moment. "All right, we need medical attention. We have wounded, and we need to know what the hell is going on." The ZZ Glor were led inside the bunker. The interior was cramped but functional, filled with blinking screens, humming machinery, and the wounded. The air was thick with the smell of antiseptic and fear. As the Z Glor tended to the wounded, Rostova explained their situation. They were a colony ship far from Earth when they were attacked by a previously unknown alien species. The aliens were relentless, technologically superior, and utterly ruthless. They had decimated the colony, leaving only a handful of survivors. "We don't know why they attacked us," Rostova said, her voice filled with anger and frustration. "We hadn't even made contact with anyone before. We were just trying to build a life here." Gleepglorp and Flipgloopy listened in stunned silence. The ZZ Glorg had encountered aggressive species before, but never anything like this. An unprovoked attack on a defenseless colony was beyond their comprehension. "We will help you," Gleepglorp said, his voice filled with newfound determination. "We will contact the collective. They will know what to do." Flipgloopy nodded in agreement. "We may not be warriors, but we are not without resources. We will help you defend yourselves." The ZZ Glor contacted the collective, relaying the human story and requesting assistance. The response was immediate and overwhelming. The collective, while not a military power, possessed vast economic and technological resources. They immediately dispatched a fleet of warships to the system, along with medical supplies, engineers, and diplomats. As the collective fleet arrived, the attacking aliens retreated, their motives still unknown. The humans were saved, but the encounter had changed them. They had seen the horrors of the galaxy, the brutality that lurked beyond the stars. They were no longer innocent colonists. They were survivors, hardened by war. The ZZ Glorg, too, were changed. They had witnessed firsthand the darkness that existed in the universe, the evil that could not be reasoned with. Their insatiable curiosity was now tempered with a sense of caution, a realization that some things were best left undisturbed. As the humans began to rebuild their colony, Rostova approached Gleepglorp and Flipgloopy. "You saved us," she said, her voice softer than they had ever heard it. "We won't forget that." Gleepglorp smiled. "We only did what was right." Rostova nodded. "Maybe, but you also showed us something else. You showed us that even the smallest, seemingly weakest species can make a difference. You showed us that there is still hope in the galaxy." As the ZZ Glor prepared to leave, Gleepglorp couldn't help but wonder what the future held for the humans. They were a species forged in fire, tempered by loss. They were the underdogs, the survivors, the ones who refused to give up. They were, in a word, Deathworlders. And the galaxy would never be the same. In the silent reaches of the galaxy, where dying stars cast long shadows across forgotten planets, the Xyrillian Council waited in fear. Their distress signal, an ancient beacon trembling with desperation, had been sent nearly 3 cycles ago. And yet no answer had returned. Their world Var 8, once vibrant with blue magma forests and cities suspended in crystal towers, now shuddered under the weight of invasion. The Krothel Dominion, conquerors 100 star systems, had moved in with frightening speed. Their ships, the infamous bone-white wraith carriers, hung above the planet like vultures waiting for a corpse to stop twitching. Var 8 was dying, and the Xyrillians had no allies left. At least, that's what they believed. Until the scanners detected something. Something strange. Something fast. Something impossibly human. The Xyrillians crowded around the central viewport, their thin, translucent faces trembling. A small fleet had appeared beyond their orbit, dark silhouettes against the dim sun. Not Dominion ships, not pirate ships. These were old designs, heavy armored, brutal, primitive at first glance, but emanating a kind of raw, unfiltered intent. The Xyrillian commander whispered, Who would answer our call? A voice crackled through ancient speakers, a language no one had heard in centuries. Rough, sharp, unfathomably confident. This is the Earth Expeditionary Corps. We heard your signal. Stand by. Earth. The word itself felt mythic, like a name whispered by ghosts. Most of the council had believed Earth was gone, humanity scattered. Their people labeled Earth a death world long ago, a planet so extreme, so violent, that its inhabitants evolved into creatures known for their impossible resilience and terrifying adaptability. Deathworlders, they called them, but they were only legends. Until today, the largest human ship approached. It was monstrous, angular armor plating, glowing hazard markings, and a plasma rail spine stretching the length of its hull. The commander, a woman with gray eyes like storm clouds and a visible scar across her jaw, appeared on the holoscreen. I'm Commander Rhea Calderon, she said. We received your distress signal. What's your situation? The Xyrillians stumbled over their words. The Krothal have taken our cities. Our defenses are failing. We never expected anyone to respond. Calderon didn't blink. That ends now. Her officers across the bridge snapped to attention. The room vibrated with coordinated purpose. You're under Earth's protection, she said, and we don't leave allies behind. The Xyrillians looked at each other in disbelief. Why would you help us? Their speaker murmured. Calderon leaned forward. Because somebody has to. Without warning, a Krothal Wraith carrier uncloaked above the stratosphere. Its pulsating bone-like hull expanded as if breathing. Weapons charged. A sickening screech pierced the comms. The Krothal hail signal. Unidentified fleet. Withdraw or be harvested. Calderon muttered. Typical Dominion arrogance. She raised a hand. All ships. Shields up. Battle posture alpha. The human fleet obeyed instantly. Brutal, precise, unwavering. The Krothal sent a second transmission. You do not comprehend the power you face. Calderon actually chuckled. You're right. I don't comprehend your confidence. Then she gave the order. Fire. The humans moved as if they'd been waiting for this fight all their lives. The first salvo erupted, blinding lances of blue plasma tearing through the void. The shock wave slammed into the Krothal carrier, cracking its bone hull open like an egg. The Dominion fleet scrambled, screeching commands in panic. The humans, however, they didn't panic at all. Deathworlders don't panic. Their ships dove into battle like predators unleashing instinct. Railguns roared. Plasma torpedoes streaked like thunderbolts. Human fighter wings swarmed through debris fields with impossible precision. The Xyrillians watched in awe as the impossible happened. The Krothal were losing. No, they were being annihilated. Within minutes, the sky burned with Dominion wreckage. The humans fought with fury. Not cruelty, fury. A burning protective rage that made even the alien observers shudder.